Welcome back to our channel, where today we're going to be discussing the action-packed comedic thriller Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. When Michael Bryce arrives at the AAA Bodyguard Awards, which he has been eagerly anticipating, he discovers none other than Darius Kincaid laughing at him as he gets his medal. After seeing his unfortunate client Curris chatting to him, Bryce knows he is in a nightmare before Darius once more blows Curris's head off and moves in on Bryce. The therapist tries to persuade Bryce that he doesn't need to be a bodyguard and to be happy, and she advises him to break while he is in therapy talking about his repeating nightmare. Although reluctant, Bryce agrees. In another scene of the meeting of the European Union, the EU's leader declares that additional penalties would be placed on Greece. In Athens, where riots are already in progress, the man is taken captive after his bodyguards are killed. As soon as the sanctions take effect, criminal lord Aristotle Papadopoulos declares his intention to bring all of Europe to an end and orders his soldiers to suffocate the EU leader with a plastic bag. All while Bryce, in an attempt to take the break seriously, is enjoying a peaceful life in Italy. However, his idyllic existence is interrupted when Sonia Kincaid, Kincaid's wife and a notorious international con artist, seeks his help. She needs his help as a ruthless assassin has abducted Kincaid. Despite his reluctance, Bryce agrees to take on the job. They kill additional bad guys and make their escape on a motorcycle. In Croatia, Aristotle's henchmen, Magnus and Veronica, meet with gun sellers who show them a technology that, upon triggering, destroys the power grid, creating havoc throughout the city. Upon seeing the weapon, Aristotle commands Magnuson and Veronica to murder the dealers and seize it. An inside squad locates the weapons dealers the following day. When his boss Crowley greets American agent Bobby O'Neill, O'Neill tells her that one of the victims is a well-known arms dealer. Crowley instructs O'Neill to recover the weapon that the murderers seized so that he can make his long-desired return to Boston. Meanwhile, Kincaid is brought before mob leader Carlo, who is furious with the hitman for killing his men. Sonia quickly arrives with guns drawn and begins killing more of Carlo's henchmen, giving Kincaid the chance to escape and murder the other men, including Carlo. Kincaid is delighted to see Sonia, but unhappy seeing Bryce as he had urged Sonia to seek assistance from anyone other than him, and Bryce is not the least bit pleased to see Kincaid either. Suddenly, all three of them are taken into custody by O'Neill, who chastises them for killing Carlo. Being an informant, he was going to get close to catching the perpetrator of the cyber attacks. By having Sonia pretend to be Carlos's mistress and Bryce to be her bodyguard, O'Neill blackmails the trio into helping him approach the target. Before leaving for the expedition, Sonia starts to have doubts about Kincaid because the reason he was taken in the first place was because he departed for what he claimed to be work while they were on their honeymoon. Sonia tries to run Kincaid over with their car, but instead, she hits Bryce and throws him into the air. Then, as a surprise, Kincaid presents Sonia with opera tickets to see Carmen, and the two go on to spend a romantic afternoon with some money O'Neill gave them to use in case of emergencies. Bryce is kept imprisoned in the trunk until he regains consciousness. He begins to rage at them until Sonia informs him that she and Kincaid are attempting to start a family, to which Bryce sarcastically remarks that she'd be a wonderful mother. The group then heads to complete the mission, where Bryce and Sonia meet their target, a man named Vlad, in a bar. As Kincaid stands with a sniper outside, Vlad hands Sonia a briefcase with an explosive bracelet cuffed to her wrist that must be delivered to Aristotle. When Seifert, a former customer of Bryce, arrives intoxicated and mentions him by name, their secret is revealed. Bryce is ridiculed by Vlad and his men for once serving as a bodyguard, and Vlad makes the critical mistake of referring to Sonia as being old. When Sonia loses control, Kincaid and her kill Vlad's men at the club while trying to hold the briefcase close to prevent Sonia from exploding. One gunman is left after she kills Vlad, and Bryce moves Sonia out of the way while he takes the shot. As she pulls Bryce to the boat where they escape, Sonia kills the shooters. O'Neill and Ashlow encounter agents after making their getaway near a murder site. He invents a distraction so he may steal a paper that describes the superweapon Aristotle has obtained. This is a huge drill that will be used to destroy the whole power grid in Europe. Bryce is dumped in the water by Kincaid and Sonia, who think he is already dead. Soon after which, he awakens to admit he was wearing Kevlar. As Aristotle appears in public, the group locates him in Italy. Kincaid notices Aristotle has his own hitman, Santo, who has seized part of Kincaid's work, and Bryce recognizes Magnus as a top-tier bodyguard. Sonia gives Bryce some painkillers after hearing about the damaged ribs he got from the shot. When Magnus notices the group, he signals Santo to fire. Magnus and other gunmen follow the trio as they flee the site. After that, Bryce begins to feel drowsy due to the fact that the tablet Sonia gave him was lithium. He goes unconscious, and Kincaid and Sonia drive erratically around the streets before they are able to take out the assailants. All the while, Bryce is thrown around in the rear and knocks various objects about. Following the villain's defeat, Bryce shouts at Kincaid and Sonia for getting him into trouble even worse. He insults Sonia by calling her insane and that she'd be a bad mother. He decides they should head to Tuscany, where they will meet his stepfather, Bryce Sr., who trained Bryce on how to be a bodyguard and was and is also an excellent bodyguard himself. Kincaid is taken aback by the fact that Bryce's stepfather is black. Sr. then invites the group to lunch, but when he brings out the gelato, everything goes wrong. Sr. tells Kincaid and Sonia that Bryce was close to his mother when he was a boy, but that changed at a fair when he went to get gelato and an obese man fell from the ride and hit his mother. Since then, Bryce felt responsible for her passing after she was sent flying to a gory death by hitting another ride. Sonia goes to console Bryce, telling him that his anger toward her and Kincaid was a result of his childhood issues, and she extends her forgiveness to him. Sr. then offers Bryce to use his vehicle to finish the mission. The group drives out to a safe spot, but are sedated and captured by Aristotle's thugs. He reveals to them that he had a past with Sonia because it appears that they were lovers before she fell off his yacht and became amnesic. But in reality, he was just another victim of her deceit. While reacquainting himself with Sonia and removing the briefcase attached to her wrist, Aristotle sends Bryce and Kincaid to be tortured. He then asserts that he is aware of Kincaid's absence during his and Sonia's honeymoon, saying he was visiting a fertility clinic as Sonia seems to be infertile. Bryce and Kincaid flee and try to find Sonia, who then refuses to go and tells them she will not be joining them. The two split off as they run from the assailants. When Bryce goes back to Senior's residence to ask for assistance, he discovers that he is actually Aristotle's bodyguard. After being ridiculed by his father, Bryce destroys his car and joins Kincaid in a bar where Sonia calls to say that Aristotle has ordered a kill squad to track the two. The gunmen open fire on the pub, forcing Bryce and Kincaid to leave again in their car. They wreck their car, but Kincaid manages to kill and elude more shooters while knocking Bryce into the river. In the morning, Kincaid motivates Bryce to take part in the decisive battle to save Sonia. Later, Interpol locates them where they convince two agents to join them in their objective by speaking with Crowley. Since the senior security team is pursuing them, they use the agents as a ruse. The two continue to eliminate bad people till they reach the boat located above the ocean where Aristotle intends to destroy the European power grid. Bryce engages in a long fight with Magnus before smashing his head inside a jukebox. While he battles Kincaid, Aristotle leaves Sonia to be killed by Veronica, and Senior arrives to battle Bryce. Sonia kills Veronica, and she and her husband jointly shoot Aristotle to death. Bryce sticks a pocket knife in Senior's neck, who shows that he is impressed, but Bryce informs him that the device is almost finished accomplishing its work. The ship is set to blow up if the countdown is halted, allowing him to destroy it if he so chooses. Bryce finds the manual override switch and pulls it, and he, Kincaid, and Sonia all jump off it before the boat is destroyed. O'Neill thanks Interpol for picking up the trio, even though he still thinks they're all morons. He then gives Bryce some documents to sign, leading him to believe that he is applying for the reinstatement of his bodyguard license. Then Sonia accepts the papers, indicating that they are adoption paperwork and that Bryce is now their son. This was Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard for you. What are your thoughts on the movie? Tell us in the comments. And if you want to watch more unique movies like this, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.